Hello, today I want to talk about emotional intelligence, why it's important, the benefits you receive from it, emotional literacy, how to increase it, and then the difference between what an emotion and a feeling is to then help you dive deeper into understanding where emotions come from, like what they actually mean, what the theme of them is. So, we're going to start off by what is emotional intelligence? EQ, or it's also known as EI. So it is the capacity to be able to be aware of, control, and express one's emotion, all while handling the interpersonal relationships from a judiciously and empathetic way with someone else. So it's really about being able to embody, like, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, this is how it's going for me, and this is what I see in someone else. Okay. How does emotional intelligence or EQ affect you? I believe that until we know what the benefit of something is, there's really not going to be any motivation to do it, to improve it, to enhance it. So I want you to know that EQ is not just some simple concept that like only soft, spiritual, or woo-woo people want to do. It is for people who want to have deeper relationships, more respectful communities, and at the end of the day, be very intentional leaders, whether it's in a corporate setting or a parental familial setting. So EQ affects your learning, your decision making, your creativity, relationships, physical health, and performance. Why? Because it is literally your ability to notice and name emotions that you are feeling while seeing it in other people. It is the practical approach of understanding the message of an emotion that it is, and understanding what the emotion is trying to communicate. So in the coaching world, we say the why underneath the why. In relationships, though, it can just be as simple as like, what is the cause and effect? Like, here we're in this conversation. This is how I'm feeling. So based on, because I'm feeling this, this is the message that is meaning to be given to me. And this is why. Then when it comes to the other person, it's having the ability to be able to understand and notice, so you could ask questions for clarification. Because if you're having an experience and I'm unable to like navigate, notice, and be like detached from like your experience and being able to notice mine, but then wanting to confirm with you, your emotional literacy is going to be kind of stunted. It's going to make communication and connecting a little bit more difficult. So in the emotional literacy realm, the big component is to be able to practice the skills of like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking because I'm feeling, and this is how I'm probably literally like showing and vibing. This is how, you're probably interpreting me. It's the ability to know and take in all of that while still holding space and be aware and curious around like, what are you like, what am I seeing in you? What am I feeling from you? What are questions that I can ask to be able to really be intentional around to connecting to what it is you're wanting me to understand without my own personal experience of whatever we're talking about impact the conversation and resolving the resolution, or just maybe being there to support you. Also, with emotions, a lot of people have stigmas around it. If you're emotional, like there's a parameter of whether or not you need, like, what is too much. People have these stigmas around, if you are emotional or you express your emotion and you're vulnerable or transparent, you're weak. These are all things that are really like exacerbating the mental and emotional crisis that we're in today's digital disconnected world. So I'm really wanting to hone in on the importance of what emotions are and feelings, so that you can understand that they are a part of the normal life. And it's a slow start to ease into talking about it, but it's really about, you can't help other people connect to you if you're not connecting to yourself. And at the end of the day, when we're able to effectively do this, it creates a lot more respect, trust, and just better boundaries on how to take care of ourselves and receive the love and respect we want. So something I want you to also know in this realm of when you're learning how to know how you feel or to communicate with others, you also need to know that you are designed to have regulation strategies, hands down. So this is something you're going to have to come up against, is being able to express how you truly feel, because you are conditioned to make a story up about how it is you're feeling and kind of like dismiss it in a sense. An example of this, as you can see, is if I'm super anxious about the pandemic and someone asks me how I feel, a typical answer before I got into this work would have been like, yeah, I'm anxious, but I'm also grateful, and I need to be grateful because I really haven't lost anyone I love and I haven't had it. That is like a way in which we demean and dismiss our own experience because we have a judgment and a thought process that is putting us in a space where we think we need to be feeling a specific way, which is not helpful. And it's designed because we are really good at having surface level questions that avoid us from being able to connect with each other. So the regulation strategy is also like the BSing people who like don't want to deal with the uncomfortable emotions. Just imagine if you asked your employee or your child, hey, how are you feeling today? And they were on their way out the door and they said, yeah, I'm a little overwhelmed or hopeless. What are you going to do when you have a meeting or to get out the door in 2 minutes? Like that answer and response is like a halt, stop, let's sit down and like listen to this person. But because we live in a space where like we're going 100 miles an hour, and technically we don't have the skills and regulation strategies to even be able to have that conversation empathetically and curiously without making it about ourselves or taking it on, like it puts you in a stance of like, yeah, no, I don't even want to like have that as a subconscious option to have to deal with. And that's okay. Like that is the way in which you've been conditioned to operate. I also, for anyone who also has kids at their house, like myself, you want to make sure that you are aware of statistics and what kids and children are feeling. They are our future. So studies have proven that 2/3 of the nation's youth do not feel they have a supportive adult in their school, which is like very scary. But what's even more scary is half of the population doesn't have it at home either. So this is where you as a leader, as a parent, as an aunt or an uncle, you get to show up differently. You get to start asking questions of like, how are you feeling today? What was the best part of your day? Is there any challenges that you're really experiencing that, you want to talk to me about? You have to work on helping kids draw that out and to be making sure that they feel safe, heard, and are being talked to, not talked at. The last thing I want to wrap up is understanding the difference between emotion and a feeling. A lot of the times when people say, I'm like, how are you feeling? And you respond, good is not a true answer. It's like the most disconnected thing that you can come up with. And it puts you in a space of like not being very clear on what your emotion is and what your feeling is. And the reason this is important is because when you are able to understand the granular experience of like the actual emotion you're feeling, you're then able to understand what you're feeling, because your feelings impact your thought process. Your thought process create a belief, the beliefs create a reality. So the inability to be able to know, okay, am I in a space of where I'm avoiding or approaching? Okay, great. What am I feeling? What is the emotion that I'm actually feeling that is creating a space of avoiding or approaching? And if I'm experiencing anger, am I avoiding anger, or am I avoiding the thing that's creating me to be angry? Like, and then by then, okay, because I'm avoiding feeling angry, and I'm also avoiding the thing, person, place, or thing that's created me being angry, these are the thoughts I'm making up about myself. And because then I'm thinking these thoughts, this is the belief in the reality that's going to be created. And when we are unable to acknowledge the feeling and emotion, it puts you in a space where you really don't know how to navigate and manage and regulate your emotions and feelings because you don't have that awareness. So another side note is like most negative experiences don't come from being aware of your emotion. Like we can it's more easy to understand what it is you're feeling. It's even harder and more uncomfortable to have to be able to learn how to regulate and manage that emotion while allowing it to be part of you, because it's healthy to have emotion. It's a crucial part of your way of being. But if you cannot regulate, manage, and navigate through that, that's when hell goes loose. Okay. So my last slide for you is just being able to understand, like, where's the come from? Where's the theme in emotions? And I didn't want to overwhelm you, but there's definitely more out there on this. So just getting clear on when you experience anger, anger is about feeling injustice. It is a very helpful tool to be able to say, hey, Alyssa, whoa, you need to check in on your moral and ethical compass. Like what injustice are you feeling right now? Is it you with you? Is it you with me? Is it me with you? Is it organization with me? Like what is the injustice? Disappointment comes from unmet expectations. Anxiety comes from uncertainty. Jealousy comes from, someone is threatened about losing someone they care about, which is, I used to think jealousy is like a terrible quality. But when you think about it, that person's literally fearing that they're going to lose someone. And like, okay, let's have a little bit more compassion, reassurance, and understanding for that person. Envy is wanting what someone else has. Fear is when you're impending danger. Fear is a little different though. You got to be careful. Like, what is danger actually include, right? You need to get clear on that. And then joy. Joy is when you're achieving a goal. It's a very temporary, complete surrender style emotion. And it's important to embody all in which it is, and to just not be so afraid of letting yourself feel it, solely because you probably aren't going to be able to effectively manage or navigate through when it's taken away. But that's for a different conversation. I just really am passionate about getting this information out. So if this was helpful, leave me a comment, leave me a like. I want to make sure that I am bringing value to this platform. So any questions, feel free to DM me, book a call. You can go to my website, alyssapadroli.com, and we can have a further discussion from there. All right. Have a beautiful day. Continue to take care of yourself and feel off.